Welcome to this crochet bear tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how to crochet this adorable teddy bear. Let's get straight into it. So the materials that you will need are a 5mm crochet hook, a yarn needle, scissors, 12mm safety eyes. You will need chunky yarn in the color that you want your bear, in cream or white for the snout, and brown for the nose. As well, you will need some stuffing. So to start off, we're going to grab the color that we want the bear and your 5mm crochet hook. And we are starting off with the legs. So we're going to begin by making a magic ring. So my method of making a magic ring is the 2-chain method. So how to do that is you start off with a slip knot, and then we're going to chain 2. And then our single crochets for the magic ring will go into the first chain, which will act as our magic ring. So for the first round, we're going to do 4 single crochets into that magic ring. And then for round 2, we're going to do 4 increases. An increase is doing 2 single crochets into 1 stitch, and that'll take us up to 8 stitches. And now we're going to put our stitch marker in. I use scrap yarn as my stitch marker. And now we're just going to single crochet for 3 rounds straight. So from rounds 3 to 5, we'll just single crochet all the way around. So once we have finished doing that, we're going to leave a small tail, and then we are just going to pull through to finish off. Now we're going to make another leg exactly like that, but you are not going to finish off on the second leg. So go ahead and make another leg exactly like this, but do not finish off. So once we have finished this second leg, we're going to put a stitch marker in. And now we are going to connect these 2 legs together. So how we will do that is we're going to chain 2 from this leg. So 2 chains. And then we're going to single crochet into this stitch from leg 1. So it would be the first stitch of the last round, the one that's lower. And this is the higher up one, this is the lower one. So we're going to go into that lower stitch from the outside. And then we're going to single crochet. And now we're going to do 7 more single crochets around this leg. And now once you've done those, we're going to go into that second chain that you just did before. So we need to find a hole in that chain, and we're going to single crochet into it. And we're also going to single crochet into the first chain. And now we're going to go into the next stitch on leg 2, so not the stitch with the stitch marker in it, but the one after that. And then we'll single crochet around the rest of this leg. So if you end up having holes between your two legs, you can sew them up afterwards, after we finish the body, but I don't really have any. So now for the next round, we're going to just single crochet all the way around, so just around the outside. So we'll have these 2 chains here first to go into, and we just have to find the holes on this side. And then you can just continue round. For round 8, we are going to do 2 increases and then 18 single crochets. And that'll take us up to 22 stitches. From rounds 9 to 12, we are just going to single crochet all the way round. So for 4 rounds straight, we will just single crochet all the way around. Once we have completed those single crochet rounds, we are going to begin decreasing. So for round 13, we'll do decrease 4 single crochets by 2, and then decrease 2 single crochets, decrease 4 single crochets. This will take us down to 18 stitches. Then for the final round of the body, we are just going to do single crochet decrease times by 6, which will take us down to 12 stitches. Once we have completed that round, we can cut off a tail. We don't need a long tail as we won't be sewing the body. And then we can just pull through to finish off. Now we're going to put the body aside and move on to the head. So to begin the head, we are going to do 6 single crochets into the magic ring. For round 2, we are going to do 6 increases, which will take us up to 12 stitches. For round 3, we're going to do single crochet increase times by 6. For round 4, we'll do 2 single crochets and an increase times by 6, which will take us up to 24 stitches. For round 5, we'll do 3 single crochets and an increase times by 6, which will take us up to 30 stitches. Now we are going to single crochet for 5 rounds. So from round 6 to 10, we're just going to single crochet around the outside. Once you've done those single crochet rounds, we'll now do single crochet decrease times by 10, which will take us down to 20 stitches. Now we're going to grab our safety eyes and pop those in. So we're going to put them between rounds 9 and 10, approximately 8 or so stitches apart. This is what they'll look like once they are clipped in. And now we can do our final round. So for our last round, we are going to do decrease, single crochet, 2 decreases, single crochet, 2 decreases, single crochet, another 2 decreases, and a single crochet and a decrease to finish off. So once we have completed that round, we are going to need to leave a bit of a tail for sewing onto the body. So this should be about enough. And now we can pull through to finish off. And now we're going to pop the head aside and we're going to move on to the arms. So for the arms, we're going to start off by doing 4 single crochets into the magic ring. For round 2, we're going to do 4 increases, which will take us up to 8 stitches. Now we are going to single crochet round for 2 rounds. For round 5, we are going to do 2 single crochets and a decrease times by 2, which will take us down to 6 stitches. Now we are going to single crochet round for 3 rounds. Once we've completed that, we need to leave a small tail for sewing, and we can pull through to finish off. Now you'll need to make 1 more arm so that we have 2 arms in total. So once we have made 2 arms, we're going to pop those aside as we're going to move on to the ears. So to start off with the ears, we're going to do 4 single crochets into the magic ring. Once you've done 4 single crochets into the magic ring, you're going to do 4 increases, which will take us up to 8 stitches. Now for the next round, we're going to single crochet all the way around. So after we've completed that, we can leave a bit of a tail for sewing the ear on. and we're going to pull through. And now you can go ahead and make a second ear. So once you have 2 ears, we're going to put them aside. So the final thing that we are going to crochet before we begin assembling is the snout. So grab your cream or white colored yarn, and for round 1 we are going to do 6 single crochets into the magic ring. Then for round 2 we are going to do single crochet increase times by 3. Now we can just leave a bit of a tail for sewing, and we'll pull through. So now before we begin sewing, we need to add stuffing to the head and the body and the arms. So we will add stuffing to each piece individually. So to start off the sewing, we are going to grab our head and our snout. And our snout is going to go between the 2 eyes, just like this. So we're just going to sew around the snout. So we'll start by going into the first stitch of the snout. And then we'll position it where we want it to go. And then we will sew into the first stitch of the body. And then back into the snout. Then back into the body. And we'll just keep going all the way around. Once we are happy with that, we can just bring the yarn to the other side of the head. And we're just going to cut the yarn off. Now this looks a little bit weird right now, but I promise it will look better once we embroider the nose. Next, we're going to grab our ears and we're going to sew them onto the head. So the ears are going to be positioned like this on either side of the head. So I'm going to make sure those lined up with the top of the circle. And that's about where I want to start the ear. So we'll just go through like this. And we'll go back into the ear. And then we'll just sew around the ear. Once we're happy with that, we'll just bring the yarn to the back of the head. And then we're going to just sew the other ear on the other side. So we'll grab our other ear and we're just going to sew it about here. Once we're happy with that, we can bring the yarn to the same point as where the tail for the other ear is. And then we can tie these two together. Then we'll cut this off and poke it inside. So before we sew the head onto the body, we need to embroider the nose. So we're going to grab our brown yarn, and the nose will be in a T shape. So there'll be the first line here and then the second line here. So we're going to start by bringing in the yarn from the side just here, and we're going to bring it to the middle on the side of the nose. And then we're going to bring it across to the other side of the nose in a line. And we'll bring it straight down to in the center below that. So we'll go one line across and then bring it to the bottom point in the center. And then you're going to bring the yarn to the center point here. And we're going to bring it back, straight back across to the side of this line. And now you can see that very clear like T shape. And I just want to go across this once more. So we'll go back into here, and then I'm going to bring it back out to the outside point. So this is what it should look like. And we're just going to tie these two together and cut them off. Now we're going to sew the bear's head onto the body. So we'll grab our body, and since these both have 12 stitches each, we are simply just going to sew one stitch into one stitch. So we'll just go up and down all the way around. So it should look like this once it is sewed on. So we've grabbed our yarn needle, and we're going to find the matching point so that the head is facing the front. So turn it around. Looks like this is the first stitch that we need to go into. So we're going to go into that stitch and pull through. And then we're going to go up into the next stitch of the bear and across. And we'll go down into the next stitch of the body and across. And then we're going to keep doing that process all the way around until the bear's head is securely sewn on. So once we are happy with how that looks, we'll just bring the yarn through to the back and we'll chop it off. And this is what the bear looks like currently. So now all that's left is to sew the arms on. So we're going to grab our first arm and we're going to sew it onto the side, just like this. So in the round between the head and the body there, where we've sewn that on, that's where this will get sewn on. So we're just going to start by going across these few stitches here. And we're basically just going to go in and out of the arm multiple times to make sure that it is secure. And then once we're happy, we'll bring the yarn to the back, and then we'll sew the other arm on and bring that yarn tail to the back. This is the completed teddy bear. I hope that you enjoyed creating your teddy. If you did, make sure to subscribe and leave a thumbs up. I post videos every week. As well, I have the written pattern for this bear with overalls and a hat over on my Etsy if you would like to purchase that. But thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!